Hi everybody. I just wanted to take some time to quickly thank all of you who came out to our gathering today in Ilground at the Power Center. It was an amazing day. We had lots of fun. It was great to see all of your faces because we had such a wonderful turnout. And however, I guess the only downside that I have to report about this afternoon is that my husband is currently beating himself up because the video that he had taken of us speaking, singing, drumming, and marching down the highway unfortunately does not work. So I guess to kind of help rid him of his guilt for his little technical difficulties, I thought that I would record a video of me rereading the statement that I had shared with all of you this afternoon. Matthew, I love you. However, this is not a big deal. Technology can be a bitch, and shit happens. So, yeah, here we go. Today is a very special day. Our indigenous people from all across Turtle Island are gathering today within their communities and on their territories to speak their truths and to stand in solidarity with one another. At this moment, hundreds, maybe thousands of our brothers and sisters and leaders are currently gathering in Ottawa for a day of ceremony, drumming, marching, and speaking. This is the second organization of our people on the grounds of the Parliament in just a few weeks, and already a third rally has been organized for late January. Just to quickly introduce myself, my name is Alicia Sweezy, and I am a youth from the Ilground First Nation. And I feel deeply honored to have this opportunity to speak to all of you, especially about something that is so important, and I also hope to hear your thoughts as well if you'll share. I don't know about any of you, but I personally have felt like I have been on this emotional roller coaster for a couple of weeks now. I have been following the Idle No More movement quite closely, as I'm sure all of you have been as well, and I am reminded of a question that my uncle asked me a number of years ago when I went to him to learn about my family history. He sat across from me of his kitchen table, looked me square in the eyes and said, "Did you know that you're supposed to be dead right now?" His question caught me off guard, and it is a question that has followed me since as a reminder to always honor my ancestors and elders, and to be brave as we all continue on with this good fight. What is happening in our country at this present time is so important and very real. Idle No More began from the strength and power of 4 women. They saw what was happening within our government, and they did not like how no one was talking about this big government hammer that was preparing to come crashing down on our people. So they banded together, creating Idle No More, and went out into the community to inform Indigenous people about what was happening. Currently, there are 8 pieces of legislation on the government table. Legislation is just a fancy word for laws that run this country. And each and every one of these legislation or laws violates our treaty rights as well as our rights outlined in the recently signed United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples. The bill that has gotten everyone talking and is now in the final stages of becoming law, Bill C-45, is a direct attack on our lands, waters, and animals of this country. This bill, disguised as a so-called budget bill, is all part of a master plan created by Stephen Harper and his majority government to finally rid this country of the Indian problem. I should probably correct that statement though, because I don't want to give Harper too much credit for his actions, because he is only copycatting a plan that the forefathers of this country devised a very long time ago. It has always been the Canadian government's #1 goal, since as early as the 1800s, to assimilate our people until we no longer exist. If anyone here is confused and does not understand what has been happening and what this all means, know that you are not alone, and to please be not afraid to ask questions. Making sure that every one of us is on the same page, including our non-native friends, is what Idle No More is all about. I should also again restate that for anyone out there that is concerned that they do not understand what is going on, I'd be careful about such negative thinking and advise you to not be so hard on yourself, because you do know a lot more about what is happening than you are giving yourself credit for, and you have a lot to contribute. We must look at the bigger picture here. Yes, there has been a lot of talk about bills and legislation, but as our sister Pam Palmater explains, if we are going to understand this legislative process, then we first need to look at where we are in the relationship between us, the Indigenous people, and the federal government. And this is why the Idle No More movement has hit a nerve with our people. It is not just about Bill C-45. Chief Teresa Spence of Attawapiskat is not on day 11 of a hunger strike because of Bill C-45. The uproar that Idle No More has created is in response to the abusive relationship we are in with Canada. I ask you this, questions that we all know the answer to. Has the government been doing a good job listening to our issues? Have we been treated with respect? Do they value our input? Has anything changed since June 2008 when Harper apologized for residential schooling and promised us a new relationship based on partnership and respect? In the past year, since that so-called historic meeting of the First Nation Crown Summit, have things gotten better or worse? Things have not been getting better because Canada has forgotten and refuses to uphold their end of the relationship as outlined in our treaties of peace and friendship. And how can they? The government has completely lost sight of what these treaties had envisioned for us. Instead of a relationship based on mutual respect, where we work together as one, Canada created the Indian Act and residential schooling. As I previously stated, this country unfortunately has invested their energy in creating policies of assimilation, and yet somehow Canada is in denial about this abusive relationship. Well, if Canada does not want to own up to their responsibilities or to hold themselves accountable for the way they have failed our people, then we will. We will resist, we will rally, protest, organize, and march. We will rise up and continue to speak our truths. Within this movement, you have heard many slogans and messages about Idle No More, and one in particular seems to always get me riled up, and it's the one that addresses silence. We can't be silent no more. Let's not live in silence. Silence is consent. This message of silence is consent is very problematic to me because I don't think that we have been silent at all. Have we not been speaking out about the problem this country has with the violence against our Indigenous women? Have we not been speaking out about the high suicide rates amongst our youth? Have we not been speaking out about the poverty conditions that some of our people live in? Have we not been speaking out about the high incarceration rates of our people? Have we not been speaking out about the funding cuts and shortfalls our people receive? Our problem has never been that we are silent. The problem has been that the government does not know how to listen, and we are not going to let Canada get away with ignoring our cries. Indigenous people are the fastest growing population in Canada, Mr. Harper, where the majority of that group are people under 35. It is now time for a new generation of warriors to rise up, and we are young, ambitious, and ready because we carry the spirits of our ancestors with us. They were survivors, and we will not dishonor them. We will continue the fight for our rights. We are all supposed to be dead right now, but we are not. Good night.